Plus on anything? What was the back and forth like today? Kind of take us through the day.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a ton of phone calls last several days, and just as much, good dialogue inside our room about all kinds of things, and always looking for ways that we can get better and get better quickly. And we also, we're excited about the deals we did make. Obviously, the bogey one happened a little bit earlier, and then last night. Feel really good about the players we got back, and those guys have a chance to be part of what we're building, and worked on all kinds of other things, but feel really good that we identified what we were willing to do and what we're not willing to do, and stayed true to that, and so now, and I think we also just learned a ton the last few days about perhaps what opportunities could be out there for us this offseason, so that's really valuable too.
With Oviedo and Nunez, what made them the right guys to acquire in exchange for Stratton and Quintana?
Yeah, in Oviedo's case, he's kind of in that category of a guy who's still really young. We see a starter's body, starter's delivery, starter's repertoire, and has already touched the big leagues, and we think is not quite a finished product, and there's some specific things we see that we think we can help him with, adjustments, and he needs runway and opportunity, and we're excited to work with him. We think he can be a starting pitcher in the big leagues. He's not stretched out right now, because of the way he was being used in St. Louis, so we'll be careful with that, and probably initially we'll be in shorter outings as we get to know him and start to work with him. I think longer term, as we look down the road, certainly towards next year, we want to build him up and develop him as a starting pitcher. But he's got we believe, the ingredients to start, and with a couple of specific adjustments we think we can help him with. And he's already been there and done it some, and it's sort of more about hopefully some final adjustments than it is about sort of years of pitching development. So he's someone we're really excited to be able to get. And then in Malcolm's case, he's a little bit of something we don't have a lot of. We feel like we have a lot of talent in the organization, but maybe the corner guys with like real bat to ball skills, just hit skill with some strength and power. He's been really young for every level he's been at. He's performed, and excited to work with him too, and see if we can help him tap into even more of that offensive potential.
In terms of Oviedo, you would describe him as a work in progress and kind of not being stretched out. Is that kind of what went into the calculus of having him be optioned to AAA in Indianapolis instead of having him be in the mix immediately?
Yeah, I think for now we just there's some things we want to first of all just get some time with him first. We literally haven't been in the same room yet with him, but once we do, just go through some things, listen to him, learn from him about what he's working on. But we do see some things that we want to try to collaborate with him on, and it just, at least temporarily, we felt like Indy's the best place to do that, and then we'll see where that goes.
Stratton being added into that deal, was that something where the Cardinals were really going after some relief help and asked about him, or was it something where, obviously you have Holderman that was called today, were you trying to clear out space, were you trying to move a reliever in general, and Stratton was the guy, like, how did that whole process kind of go?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't feel like we had to move anybody, but in that case, as we were talking to the Cardinals, as it lined up, we just felt like there was probably some mutual benefit, including for Chris, potentially. It's a good fit for the Cardinals, in terms of how he does it. It's a good place to pitch. Obviously, a big ballpark, good defense, and obviously a veteran guy who's fit in there well. And hopefully, a good opportunity for Chris to be part of that. Playing meaningful games down the stretch, and we're happy for him in that way. And then it does open up some opportunity here for us to give some innings to other guys, and learn more about some guys the rest of the way.
And where do you see Beasley fitting?
Well, he's going to be optioned into Indy for now. He's a guy who's obviously been up and down. between Toronto and AAA this year. We really like the four-seam fastball and the slider combination. We are, you know, we're trying to make sure we stay diverse in our bullpen mix. You know, we have a handful of guys who are a little bit more sinker or two-seam oriented, and you know, want to make sure we have just some different looks. So he does it a little bit differently with a four-seam and slider. So that was part of the interest there, and but he'll go to Indy for now, and then you know, see where it goes.
Ben, how do you envision you guys divvying up outfield reps? I know part of that's Shelby's call, but at the same time, I mean, you now have Gamble, Reynolds in one spot to rotate young guys. Like, is that what you envision this being, or heavier rotation?
I think really, Jason, I think Shelty and I both agreed that once we get past the deadline, you know, we'll come together and kind of reset and look at the roster and see where that is. Honestly, because it just didn't end up until 6 o'clock. Really haven't had a chance to do that yet. So I would assume starting post game, and tomorrow we'll dive into that more. And he'll, as he always does, look for feedback and information from people, and we'll kick it around. But ultimately, it'll be his choice certainly on who's in the lineup. As I've said before, there are guys, whether they're here now or still in Indy, that we'd like to see opportunity for in August and September. We, you know, balance that the best we can. There's also guys who are more experienced here who deserve to play too. So I think we can accomplish both without getting in the way of anyone. But we really haven't had a chance to talk about it yet.
Might be, I guess, a similar answer, but obviously Q goes and you have no rotation spot now. Do you have any idea who might fill that at this point?
Yeah, I think we have some options internally, some guys even currently here who have gotten their pitch count built up a little bit, and again, that's something that, you know, we agreed we'd kind of reset on right after the deadline. Just haven't had a chance to yet. Obviously with Q and that spot specifically, we'll have to find, you know, we have a day that we need to fill, and we know that, so we'll figure that out post game, and look to, you know, imagine the rest of the season there'll be some combination of guys who are already here, and perhaps some guys in Indy also.
And whenever you're assessing Stratton in particular, but this goes for Q and Vogie also, whenever you're assessing, you know, these opportunities, the human factor that goes in it, like Stratton is a clubhouse leader right there. How much does that factor into these decisions?
I think both, you know, it's been said before, but you know, both Q and Stratton are terrific pros. I mean, I was talking to John Mazzella, you know, finishing that deal up last night, and I told him, like, I don't know that you'll find better pros, you know, on the scale of things. So, you know, so yeah, that, I mean, I don't know that any time you talk to a player about a trade it's easy, but those guys are real pros, which on the one hand makes it easier because they're going to be total pros about it and understand. On the other hand, it makes it hard because you appreciate who they are. So, but it's part of the game. They understand it. They've been through it, and you know, often it's the case that trades, you know, however that first conversation feels when you first find out, often it can lead to, you know, good opportunities for everybody involved, and that's what we certainly hope in this case.
And I'd like to get your reaction to the Juan Soto trade, how that changes the National League and maybe Major League landscape, and how that affected the trade deadline for all the other GMs.
I mean, I think we're all fans, right? So we're following that. Once you know, the news came out a little while back that, you know, maybe he was available in trade. I think it got everyone's attention, and everyone was following it and speculating on what might happen. And that was a doozy. That was a big one. And it's exciting. It's fun. You know, it's as a fan, like, it's the kind of thing that gets people attention, gets people talking, and there'll be buzz from it, and it'll be fun to see how it all plays out. Obviously, both organizations have a lot at stake, to say the least, with that trade, and that's part